a very interesting conversation. This is a conversation that, of course, you need to pay attention to, especially to the ladies. And for the men who think ladies cannot do anything in the construction industry, sit down. You're going to be schooled today. It's going to be an interesting, discussion. So I want you to come through with your questions on 0719 038 963. And most definitely, we'd love to hear your experiences as well. But today in particular, we're going to, focus on Rachel Jerry's experience. Rachel, it's great to have you on the show. How are you doing this afternoon?
Doing well, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. And of course, I want you to introduce yourself the best way you know. Tell us, who is Rachel?
Okay, Rachel is Rachel Jerry, project manager at Africa Logistics Properties.
Okay.
Yeah, at Africa Logistics Properties, we develop, we acquire, we develop,
Mm-hmm.
we lease, and we manage.
Okay.
Warehousing.
Yes. All right. That's interesting. I want to know now about your experiences where you started. But first off, let's go straight into tell us your role as a project manager over the years and what are the responsibilities that, a project manager does.
A project manager mainly is to deliver the project and coordinate and ensure that there's harmony because we have diverse teams. The teams, the specialists are the ones who drive the process.
Okay.
But what the project manager does is to ensure that everything else is in the plan. During the initiation,
Yes.
we guide through the development of the brief.
Okay.
That is in Prince 2, we call it brief, or charter in PM Box, we call it charter.
Okay.
Charter is the description of the goals, the scope, the timelines, the budget at high level. That is
Yes.
during the initiation stage.
Okay.
And then we have the teams. The teams are put in place, the specialists. And then we go to planning. Planning is where we do the detailed work. That is the drawings, the budget estimates. We do the tender pack.
Okay.
We do the WBS. We do the WBS is the schedule actually. We also do the tender pack. We appoint the contractors.
Okay.
Actually, at that point we get to create the team. Before now we move to execution and controlling.
Okay.
Execution is now the real work.
All right.
And controlling.
Yes.
And the project manager controls and monitors the progress and to ensure that the project is within the goals. And everyone who is in that team achieves their goals and their individual responsibilities.
Okay, interesting.
And,
So how long have you been doing this? How long have you been in the construction industry?
Well, I've been in the construction industry for about 15 years.
Okay.
And I would say not really doing the project management because at that when you join the industry, it's like you get to learn.
Yes.
To experience the construction industry. It's more of learning. So I could say maybe for 10 years I've gotten into the line of managing the project. Managing the construction project. Because I've realized that for you to be able to really manage a construction project, you have to really understand what goes on.
Okay.
You have to understand the project. You have to understand what goes behind the scenes, what actual work's involved, so that you're able now to apply the controlling techniques and the knowledge of controlling the project to ensure that the project is within schedule.
Okay.
And you don't fall into scope creeps.
Yes.
Cost overruns.
I mean, all these words you're throwing in and out, I'm very sure there's somebody who's tuned in and they're loving the title project manager. They're wondering, so what's the first step? How did you get into this industry? Did you go to school to study it? Is this something that you learned through somebody? How did it come about?
Well, I started with the diploma in building and construction. Then I went to the field.
Yes.
Then I went back to do a national diploma in building and civil.
Yes.
And then later I did construction management.
And
I think that is the time now my path as a project manager in construction was formed clearly.
Okay.
At that time I was clear and I want to do project management. But initially it wasn't so clear of what I wanted to do. Yes.
All right. Interesting. So tell me, what inspired you to go into this?
Well, I think that is something it goes back to high school when we were about to do our exams, and of course you're guided on what you can go to do in the university.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to the university. I missed by a few points.
Okay.
So I went to the Kenya Polytechnic to do the diploma. That's where I started.
All right. Interesting. So way before, is it something that you always wanted to do? Is it something that you envisage? You are like, when I grow up, I want to become a project manager, get into construction, build homes, build houses, build buildings. Is this something that was always at the back of your head?
Let me say it's not, you can't really, it was in my hand, my head.
Yes.
I think when I was growing up with my family and my cousins, whatever games they played, I would.
Yes.
If my parents were building a house, I would be involved in it.
We
didn't have activities that are, these ones are for girls, these ones are for boys.
Right.
If it's doing the chores, we would do together with my brothers. So I wasn't limited on which course I can do when I go to the university.
Okay. All right.
It was an open field. So for me, when I felt that I need to go to do building, my parents weren't so worried, although my dad wanted me to go and do accounts, but it was okay.
But you're still doing accounts when you're a project manager, so of course you're doing something that he wanted you to do.
A lot of the budget you can't do unless you have an accounting understanding. That one you have to do. But I think there is the estimates that you learn in school.
Okay.
How to do the budgeting, how to do the bills, how to evaluate them.
All right. That's wonderful. So we come back in a bit, and of course we talk about the challenges that she's encountered in this male-dominated industry. You know, when you talk about construction, it's a man, wanaume ndo wanaendanga mjengo, but no, she has thrived in it. So we come back and talk about some of these hurdles she has had to encounter throughout the years. She's talked about being in it for 15 years. So if